I'm Angelique Rumou. Welcome to A Better Place. Today we will be bringing you part 2 on the topics of early childhood education and learning styles. We will be interviewing none other than our guest, Miss Astor Allen. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. Ms. Allen, welcome back.
Thank you, Angelique.
Let's continue with our discussion on early childhood education, and then we will move right into the different learning styles. Okay. Because you did mention that teachers, should recognize that their children are different learners. So what else can you add to that?
What I would add to that is that staying with early childhood, again, ages 3 to 5, children are constantly, as they grow, they're changing. Their preferences change, the things that they're able to do, the ability to master certain things, that changes. And so teachers would recognize that about the different age groups that they have. And so at the same time, it's important to recognize then the difference. How do I like to learn? Do I learn best when I'm working with another child? Do I do well in group work? Do I love circle time? Or do I prefer when I have to sit by myself and do my work and come and show the teacher? So the teacher would recognize those things about a child. And then you'd begin to see, okay, well, if I want to get the best out of John or Tommy, then I know I'm going to have to put him with a group. If I want to get the best out of Mary, I need to let her sit by herself but close to me, because she likes to ask lots of questions and get the teacher to say, very good, Mary. So, children are different. So teachers would recognize that, or need to recognize that in their classrooms.
Yeah, because it's ironic that you said it, because we know all of the schools have circle time. And of course, the kids are expected to sit and do what they have to do in circle time.
Right.
However, I'm glad that you mentioned that, children do have different learning styles. And how early should a teacher be recognizing this? Because, for example, I know what the various learning styles are. You have some children who are visual, some who are, that yes. they learn better from hearing and
movement.
And with movement. So how do you then deal with a child, for example, who, wants to be constantly on the blackboard and doesn't want to sit much, longer than they have to at the table in writing because they want to interact? How can a teacher deal with a child like that?
Okay. Two things to remember, again, dealing with the age group that we're looking at today. You have to remember that a child's attention span is very short, especially at that age. And so if I'm thinking of a 3, 4, or 5-year-old, I know that whenever I'm going to give you an activity, I need to think of the time that you're able to spend working on it. And so my activities throughout the day will allow you to move. I will give you the movements, because some children need the movement. Just because of their personality, they need the movement. Some children will need it because their attention span may be shorter than the others, even though we know that at early childhood that they are short, they do have a short attention span. But some may be shorter. Again, it's recognizing that children are not all the same. Even if they come from the same family or they're brought up in the same school you may go through, they're not all the same, so recognize that. So if a child needs to be up at the blackboard, I would need to plan my time so that, okay, I know that John likes to go to do this. So I will say, John, or on this occasion, Thomas, you go up to the blackboard and write that. But I know that, that Angela is a child that likes to sit back. She's a child that, is quite shy, but she will do very good work. If I just allowed her the time to work by herself, she would produce excellent work. Whereas if I send her up to the blackboard, she would not. She would freeze up and she wouldn't be able to do it. So it's recognize the strengths of my children and begin to help to woo them out of that. Okay, I know that Angela doesn't like that, so today I will give her something in a group. Maybe next week I'll move it in a larger group. And maybe by the end of the month I would say, okay, well, Angela, do you want to share with the rest of the class how you could do that on the blackboard? Because I've prepared her for that. So that's how I take that into consideration.
And what about teachers who, you know, don't pay keen attention to what they say to children as well? Because, for example, I've heard of situations where, you know, you have a child who, you know that, you always have a know-it-all, and they want to answer all the questions. But do you think that it's good for a teacher to shut, what I would say, to shut a child up, you know, knowing that, you know, they're very vocal and they want to give the answers? Isn't there a nicer way than to say, no, you always get all of the chance, give someone else a chance, you know? How can a teacher not attribute to that child becoming more withdrawn?
Okay, what I would say to that is that where you have a child who really seems to be grasping the concept and really wants all the turns just to show the teacher that he or she knows, then you need to think about giving that child some extra activity that they could do whilst the group is engaged in something else. So yes, I will give you some opportunities, but because I know you will grasp it quicker, I would have some extension activities already prepared for you. And so as soon as I begin to see, okay, well, you're taking most of the opportunity now and the other children are not getting a chance to come in. Okay, well, Thomas, I have something special for you today. Because I know that usually you want to share the answers with everyone, this is what I have. And so I would give him that. So he doesn't feel bad. He gets an opportunity to share what he knows because I have some activity there that sort of preempts my questions. It looks at what we're going to learn. And because I know, okay, talking about early childhood, you may use some cards that the child can manipulate, and they have to match them based on what I'm going to teach. Now, he's not blurting it out, but he has the opportunity to show what he learns, what he knows, whilst I'm working with the rest of the group. So that way, he feels really good because he feels important now. Teachers recognize me, she's given me something to do, and I can go back and show teacher what I've done. Whereas the other children, they get the chance also to have to teacher explain and also show what they know. So everybody feels quite good.
And what about, you know, the extremely talkative children? I mean, we're still with early childhood, and then we're going to move quickly on to learning styles. But what about those who are extremely talkative and you know, for example, we're going to do role play. You know, I'm the teacher, you're the student, and you are telling me that, you know, but Miss Ramu, you know, you're not helping me and you're helping another student. You know, why is that? I mean, do you consider such a question to be rude or to be out of place? I mean, I see it as a child really recognizing that something is quite different here, you know, and I'm not probably getting the same attention or what I should be getting towards a child. I mean, how do you deal with children who are very vocal and, you know, tend to want to, what I consider to be, show you up and point out what you're doing that might be incorrect?
Okay. Just over the weekend, I attended a symposium by Love of Kids Foundation. And one of the topics that came up was, what is fairness? And fairness was not
designed. It's so funny that you use that word, because that is a word that my son uses, and he's being told that he shouldn't use that word.
That it's not fair.
Yeah, that it's not fair. So.
Okay. Well, I wanted to share that because when the gentleman shared the idea of it, it made a lot of sense. And I think it's something that we can help children understand because they're at that stage of learning. If you were to ask a child what is fairness, for them, everybody gets treated the same or everybody gets the same. But if you really look at what fairness is treating a person based on what they need. And so whilst you may have a need for something, I may not have that need. So would it be fair to give us the same? If I don't really need it, why give it to me if you need it more? Right. And so when we're speaking about fairness, it's looking at what he or she needs. When we come into the classroom now and we're thinking about a child who wants a lot of the teacher's attention, who wants to show what they know, and is saying, teacher, that's not fair, that's not fair, that's not fair, then it's important for the teacher to help the child understand, okay, well, Asta, you need this right now, but Thomas doesn't need it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this time to you because Thomas doesn't need that. So it would be good for me to spend time with you, but in a while, you won't need me. And so I'm going to spend my time with Thomas. Is that okay? And so it helps the child to think, okay, well, he's helping somebody else learn. And teacher's asking me if that's okay. And I get the teacher's time. And teacher talks to me about whether something's good or something's not good.
No, Miss Allen, we have to take a break.
Okay.
And we will take up the conversation where we left off. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
I need a favor. I don't have a lock for my bike, and I'm just wondering if maybe you could run into the store and grab me some tampons.
Tampons?
Are you kidding me?
Well, how about you just go in there and I'll just watch your bike?
I don't know the first thing about buying that stuff.
What stuff?
What do you have to get?
You can't say tampons?
I just won't do it,
Even if I was your mother.
even if he was my mother.
Can I buy toilet paper? Will that work?
No!
Ubec Kotex, a new line of tampons, pads, and liners.
Are you looking for that prescription that the doctor just gave to you and you can't find it at no other pharmacy? Well, the Orange Grove Pharmacy is where you should be. The Orange Grove Pharmacy, we carry a wide range of American and European prescriptions and drugstore items. We also do personal care products. We offer friendly services and 24 hours emergency delivery. Charges may apply. We're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturdays, 9 to 1 p.m. Orange Grove Pharmacy, supporting a healthy lifestyle.
Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. Miss Allen, we were just talking about, how teachers could also recognize, when a child is a little bit more advanced or seeking for more attention than the other, how to really address that child. Can you elaborate a bit?
Yes. In order to do that, Angelique, I think I'd like to touch a bit on the learning styles, because there are children that need you to be able to explain more. There are children that need for you to just even tell them why they're doing something. There are children who will come to you. They know how to do what you've given them to do, but they just need to hear the teachers say, yes, well done, very good, or whatever. They need that. And so you need to recognize that with children. So when you have children who need that extra, you need to look at, okay, well, I know that Thomas, and I don't know where Thomas and John and Angela came from, but I know that Thomas is going to come back for some more. So you prepare yourself. Remember, you're with these children for a whole year, at least. And so you prepare yourself for that. I know that he's going to ask me. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to present a story, first of all, to the class. And maybe James, who likes to act things out, I can call him up here to act out what I'm saying. And then I'll give the children the chance to ask me questions, especially Thomas, because I know he needs that attention. I know he's the one who has to ask me questions. So I'll allow him to do that. And then if things don't go right at the end of it, as a teacher, I have to allow myself to be questioned by the children. Oh, Mrs. Allen made a mistake. Well, you know what, children? I did make a mistake. We're going to have to see what we have to do about that. It teaches the children that it's all right to make a mistake, that we don't know everything. And if I make a mistake, then I have to do something about it. So we teach not just in the content, but in our actions and our activities and our speech with the children. I'm looking at the younger children, ages 3 to 5, because they pick up so quick. They're learning, they're imitating this, and so it's very important that we recognize when we've done something wrong, and we help them know what do we do when we do something wrong. They'll very quickly tell you.
So you mentioned about attending the For the Love of Kids Foundation seminar, the one on screen-free parenting. And it's so ironic what you were saying about, acknowledging that, sometimes you're wrong, because I was telling my son that mommy's going to this seminar. And he said, what is it about? And I said, it's actually on how to scream less. So mommy wants to learn how to be less of a screamer. And he said, but why can't I go? I said, because it's for adults, it's not